Hi guys, today we are going to be talking about people first language, what it means, what we have kind of been programmed to say, and how we can move forward to make our school a more inclusive staff and student body and just a better place to be. So what is people first language? People first language is used to speak appropriately and respectfully about an individual with a disability. It emphasizes the person first and not the disability. For example, when referring to a person with a disability, refer to the person first by using phrases such as a person who, a person with, or a person who has. So I'm going to show you some different examples of this here in a little bit. But it's very important with person first language that you are putting the person before the disability. So they have a disability, but they are not that disability. Some things to remember about this. About 50 million Americans report having a disability, and it is the largest minority group in our country. Every person with a disability is different, even if they have the same disability. So it is often said that if you know two people with autism, you know two people with autism, they are not the same as each other. They are not going to be the same as someone else that you would meet with autism. So each disability is different, even if it is the same diagnosis. And the last thing to remember, a disability descriptor is simply a medical diagnosis. Words have power. So we're going to walk through some of the things that I have heard, I have even said, that are very traditional, very old-fashioned, and we're going to talk about why that is wrong and what we can say instead to better our language and make our school more inclusive. So what we have said, he is nonverbal, she is autistic, she is emotionally disturbed, she is in special ed, he's a SPED kid, she has problems with walking, handicap parking, or he is confined to a wheelchair. Now, there are lots of different phrases that I have said, that I have heard in our school that follow along these lines. These are just a few examples, but if you look at each of the phrases, you can kind of see a similarity between each of them, that they all use a variation, almost all of them use a variation of the word is. So that is leading towards, he is nonverbal. That is an identifier for his identity, is how it is phrased. So what is the problem with this? These phrases and language that we have used puts the disability ahead of the person by phrasing their diagnosis as the biggest part of who they are. Much of the language is outdated, inaccurate, and an inappropriate use of a medical diagnosis. Like I said, words have power, and these words perpetuate negative stereotypes and negative attitudes. When we see the diagnosis as the most important characteristic of an individual, we devalue them as an individual. So isn't it time to make a change, and how do we make that change? It's all a simple change in your language. So from now on, we will say people with disabilities. He speaks with ASL. She has autism. He uses a wheelchair. She receives special ed services. She has a mental health diagnosis. She uses a walker to walk. Accessible parking. They may have that disability, but they are not defined by that disability. So if you catch yourself using a phrase with the word is, pause, stop, and then come back and think about how you can rephrase that comment. So he is autistic is identifying him as that disability. He has autism is simply stating that they have that disability. So we're really slowing down, thinking about how we can adjust our language in our future as we move forward as a school. We have the power to make a difference, so it's time that we start doing this, start making our world, our school, a better and more inclusive place. The difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and the lightning bug by Mark Twain.